Okay, today we're going to talk about loneliness.
We're going to talk about loneliness.
Loneliness. In the world right now, there is an epidemic of loneliness.
Right.
And it's actually higher in men, single men, than it is in women. But across the world, even though we live in the most connected time that we've ever lived in, people are very profoundly lonely. Why do you think that is?
No, let me clarify. You said it's more in men than women. What's the percentage difference?
I can check. But why do you think we are living in the world now that even though we're so connected, we're so lonely?
You see, you must understand first what is loneliness, no? There's a lot of misunderstanding to that word. Loneliness simply means I am missing meeting me. Slowly. We always think loneliness has to do with another. I don't have another person in my life. I'm not being with someone. I'm cut off. But actually, loneliness, in the essence of it is, I'm failing to meet me. And in order for me to meet me, I need to meet another. Slowly follow this. This is a very interesting viewpoint that I think will help a lot of people. Almost everything about you that you have come to know has always been in the interaction of another. How do you know you are loving? You meet somebody and you feel empathy, compassion for the other. Right? Are you still checking the numbers?
I'm looking for the statistic. But you keep going.
No, I don't want.
You don't want the statistic?
No, we can go to the statistic later. I need you to pay attention.
Apologies.
This is exactly what it is. What is just happening. Like I need to be in contact with you for me to meet me, to say what I need to say. You have asked a question, let's say, why is there loneliness in the world? Why are we lonely? My answer to that is because we are losing the means to meet ourselves. In order for me to meet me, I have to meet you. In meeting you, I meet something about me. So loneliness has very little to do with the other being in your life. It's about you missing you. Slowly. How do you know you are a friend? You met a friend. You met somebody you like. You spoke to that person. You met you. Follow this carefully. So I'm stating there is no way to meet me without meeting another. And only by meeting another, through that interaction, I find out something about me. So loneliness is missing of oneself. You are missing you. In order to know you, you have to meet another. You see, when I was growing up, there was this particular old lady, and she fancies me. I don't know why she likes me. Very old. She was like in her late 80s, touching 90s, really old, asthmatic. And once I had an accident. I was out, maybe, I don't know, hunting wild boar or something. And something happened to my feet. And I'm usually quite tough. But that old lady who was my neighbor came every day. She has a kind of a medicine. She put salt in a cloth, put it on oil, put it on heat, and put on my feet. Every day she'll call me, come here. And she'll like almost boss me around. Come here, you, sit with me. And she'll do. And looking at her, I realized, oh my God, I'm liked by her. But more than that, I liked her. I became a friend. I realized, oh my God, I discovered something about me that I can be grateful. And then I became her, I don't know what was her servant, her assistant, until she passed away. I'm the one who she calls when she can't breathe or something. Suddenly, I met me in meeting her. So again, let me make this very clear. Loneliness is you are missing you, and the tools to meet you are not present. That is why you need another. I need you for me to meet me first. When I've met me through you, then I meet you. That is Appa's famous ABC. There is no way to know me without meeting you. And why people are lonely, the other is not used as a self-reflection. The other has lost the meaning in our life except for utility. So we end up becoming a culture, we're just using people. We don't understand that the other is needed for us to meet ourselves. So yes, loneliness is an epidemic. Remember, in those days when we grew up in a culture, we grew up in a tribe, we grew up in a community. Everybody will have a story of this old lady I met or somebody else I met. And through that people, they got to meet them. And whenever you have met you are never lonely. I go into another direction. Sometimes when you are lonely, you hear advice, go meditate. No, that's false meditation. That is narcissistic meditation. That is saying, I don't need anybody. I can discover myself. You know why we live on this earth? For whatever reason, one of the main reasons, it is an opportunity for me to discover me. It's an opportunity for me to reflect who I am. I have a dog. I'm attached to that dog. Suddenly I realize, oh my God, I'm someone who can be attached, right? So loneliness is a byproduct of you missing you. And why are you missing you?
We have a special guest joining us
Come
on the
in.
show today,
Come in.
who is slobbery and stinky.
Come in. Good boy. Good boy. You want to sit here with me?
I'm going to pan down a bit to show him. That's Mr. Tiger Biscuit.
It's Mr. Tiger.
He said,
Sit, Tiger.
he said,
Sit,
are you
sit.
lonely?
Sit,
I'm going to come
sit,
and
sit,
chill
sit.
with you.
Okay, good boy. You cannot have a better prop for this talk. Okay, now. You somehow sneaked his way in, isn't it?
How did he come in? Look at you. Just
Okay, be good boy. Okay? You want to be here? You be a good boy. Now, if you are lonely, begin by first saying, I'm missing meeting me. In order to meet me, I need another. Go volunteer somewhere. Go for a walk. Say hello to somebody. I know it's not safe in this day and age. Go and be in contact. And try to live this principle, you know. That's his tail. Okay. Love you, good boy.
it's time
Good boy.
for Mr. Tiger Biscuit.
No, let's see whether he behaves. Okay. See now, what happens when I'm sitting with this dog? Am I meeting the dog? Yes, but I'm also meeting the part of me that is meeting the dog. Then I'm not lonely. Lonely is I'm missing me. Again, they might say, go meditate. No. Go be with another. Go meet others. Connect. Understand the other is not just utility. The other is not just you. The other is a necessary alchemy for you to meet you. So loneliness is you not meeting you. Only when you have met you, even the word meditation comes into being. Meditation is the quality I create to be able to recognize me in looking at another. They say Lao Tzu, a famous Chinese master, Lao Tzu, he became enlightened in an autumn day watching the leaves drop. And somehow in looking at the leaf drop, something about him he realized. They say the part of you that can let go. So what we are not acknowledging, I need you for me to know me. Knowing me without meeting you is an illusion, is an hallucination. More so right now, we live in a world where we want to live an idea. We want to live a mind. I make up, I'm something like this. And I'm forcing my mind into the world. It is not bounded in reality. That is why people are lonely. Loneliness saying, start connecting with people. Be part of a tribe. Get to know somebody. Sit with somebody. Have a coffee. But have a coffee this way. Have a coffee in a way that you are using that togetherness to meet you only. That's the A, the B. The space is the C. By using you as my B, I come back to me. I'm looking at me.
But you know, there are so many people, right, that they can't even get to that point. I was reading Reddit when I was
reading what?
Reddit when I
Okay.
was looking up this topic, and it is very sad and very depressing when you read it because there are so many people who are so lonely, and they're like, no, I've never even had a friend. Every time I thought I had a friend, they ditched me. They didn't want to have anything to do with me. They're like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I just go to work and I'm home and I'm lonely.
Yep. You see, what happens is the main reason is an idea dominates you. Sometimes when you put an idea onto you, when you decide, you make a mind out of you, the mind is just a projection of yourself. By that, it is not in contact. I have had situation, I had to walk up and slap someone one time in order for them to jolt to be there, because they're so lost in the mind. It's like a psychotic episode. They are so lost in their paranoia. You see, when you go out, you don't go to meet another. You also go with the fear, how people are going to look at me. Am I being the person I want to be? Am I living according to the expectation of the world? Right? So there's so much mind. And when the mind dominates, you will prevent any meeting because you are investing in the mind you have created. I think you got to go. Okay?
Okay, we're going to escort you out, Tiger Biscuit.
Go, Tiger.
Bye, sayang. Can I be part of the pod?
He is now. Hope we keep him in.
He's a new character.
Okay, again, we go into this. See, I am not denying the other factors for loneliness. People can become lonely for many, many reasons, but I'm giving you the overview. The loneliness is I cannot meet me, and I'm separated from you. Why am I separated from you? It's because of the mind that I've created. I've had incident in life, I can see in somebody's eyes, they're going into almost a psychotic episode. They are so lost with the idea that they have to be this, that, and the other. You know, the mind, I must look good, I must be this, I must that. By that, they are in a separated state. And they need a jolt to come back to you. Do you know what another is? It's a jolt. When I meet somebody, it is very hard to sell my mind. Follow this. 9 out of 10 people you meet are selling a mind. They are selling an advertisement. They are walking advertisement. They are preaching, I'm like this. I want you to look at me this way. I'm amazing. I'm this. They are not in a space to discover what is there. So I am saying that one of the number one contribution to being lonely is you are so caught up in an image, in an idea and trying to sell it, you are disconnected with everything. That is why they say pets are good, because pets don't buy who you are. I think if, who's that? Beyonce is here, the pet will not recognize her. It will still treat her like another person. So they say if there is an animal, that's why the horse therapy is amazing, The horse doesn't care who you are. The horse is meeting how you are. And they say the horse gives you an honest response. So why are this becoming therapy? It is simply because we are lost to selling an image, an idea. I have this story, Let's see whether this joke works or not. You keep it if you want. A lady was caught passed out in her driveway. So the husband runs out and said, what happened? She said, the aircon didn't work. He said, why didn't you bring down the window? She replied, and to show the neighbor my aircon not working. She rather pass out in that heat than to show the neighbor accidentally that her air condition in her car is not working. We live in this world. You know why childhood is beautiful? As a child, you really don't have a solid image. A young boy will walk in here butt naked. He will come here, he has no idea of selling a mind to anybody. They just show up. And that is why you bond with them so well, because your mind doesn't work. Follow carefully. So what is loneliness? I have created a bubble around me that I cannot meet anyone. By that, I'm unable to meet me.
Do you think that every person who's feeling this loneliness and then the subsequent depression that comes from that loneliness, it falls into that category?
No, you must understand. I'm speaking as someone who founded this school for higher learning in regards to internal evolution, awakening, creation. No, I am not the expert on this. This you got to talk to therapists, you got to talk to Emma Wewe, you got to talk to Paul, you got to talk to the expert. But I'm giving the overview. So you must please understand, I'm not a therapist, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. I'm not. At most, I'm speaking like a two-bit philosopher, or I'm giving you some insights I have. You must not reduce what I'm saying to a therapeutic situation that some people will need. But in general, in my observation of thousands and thousands of people that I've run into over the years, I've been teaching, and I also have been teaching like meditation, I've been teaching personal growth and all that. I'm telling one of my number one reason is the mind you created about you is in the way of you meeting you. And in order to meet you, you need interaction. Like I always said this, this maybe I don't want to repeat this story, but it's your mother. I was very young, and we were attending a training, a kind of a personal development training, and everybody has to take turns to dance, one by one. I've been dancing. I'm a show off, so I was going inside. I'm dancing. I came back, and your mother was shy. And as she walked in to dance, I stood up and started clapping for her, cheering her. You know what I discovered? I didn't know that I had that in me. And that led me to do what I do now. The biggest thing probably you can say, I'm a cheerleader. I'm cheering people to grow, to be beautiful. But that moment, I still remember, it was 1988. I still remember the way I was clapping. It's not that I was in love or I was excited. I was 23. What do I know? But that energy that woke up in me to support.
You hadn't even met her at this point,
No,
right?
I haven't met her. She was just another person. And I was like, wow, I didn't know I had it in me. Remember, I have a background of martial art. I have a background of going into tournaments and cheering and all that. I have that. But I didn't discover that I could support another human being to that extent that it was a shock. So I must say that incident helped me to recognize something about me, which I would have missed if I didn't meet her. Follow carefully. Then in years to come, I would feel lonely because I missed that part of me. So my point is loneliness, some part of me I've missed meeting because I didn't give myself chance for that encountering. And I'm saying I'm not giving myself the chance for encountering because I'm constantly selling a mind. I'm constantly selling an image. I'm constantly propagating an idea.
And that stems from insecurity.
I'm not sure whether it's insecurity.
Inferiority.
Yeah.
I
You
would
are right.
think it
You are
would
right.
come
It's
straight.
definitely insecurity. I'm insecure of who I am. I'm insecure that I would be found out. I'm insecure I'm less than you. Agree. I will go with insecurity. The word insecurity is for sure. For sure. So now, for the people that are lonely, what is it about you that you have failed to meet? And it's very hard to speculate, I cannot just sit down and think, what is it about you haven't met? How are you preventing you to meeting you in the context of another? How are you missing meeting you in the context of another? I'll tell you another one. Today is a dog story. When Appa was meditating in that period, it was a very quiet period, few years, and I was just alone. Your mother was there, but I used to sit. I had a nice house, but I used to sit quietly. There was nobody. We were just two of us. I remember a dog came into the house one day in a raid. It's a Australian Terrier. It's a small dog, It came in, and I was like, what is this dog doing here? And it looks like it's been beaten up, and somebody has poured hot water on it. It's just been abused. And he was so scared. So I took the dog, and smelly fellow, then kind of treated him and kept him. And when he never got better. And one night I was sitting down there, whatever I was doing, meditating or whatever, quietly sitting. And the dog always will sit just in a distance from me, and he's looking at me. And it's a dog. You cannot go touch it. It gets scared. You have to go very slow. And it was deaf.
Traumatized.
And it was deaf too. He couldn't hear properly. So Scared, but he will sit there. Then one day I'm sitting down there looking at the dog and me, and I could say, man, aren't you and I the same? At that point of time, nobody really gives a shit. No, and it was okay. And I'm looking at the dog to meet me. I'm like, isn't this our situation? That's when I was doing my thesis, whether faith or free will prevail. That's what gave birth to the science of creation. But that was the moment I'm sitting with the dog, I'm sitting with me, and I'm going like, I had to meet that part of me, and I need to connect to that dog. And in meeting that part, something rests in me. I'm like, I'm okay. We are just living creatures. We are just in this world. We are nothing special. We are just like all other living things. And I made peace. I think I made peace. Or I still remember looking at the dog and saying, As how nobody is going to complain about the dog. He's nowhere to complain. I have nowhere to complain. That's its faith. I'm looking at me and I'm saying my faith. And I think a courage came. Say, okay, if this is my life, as how I don't know, I allow that for that dog or not. And it was my only companion at night. I'm sitting to sit there, and we were broke at that time. So whatever little money we have, we go buy food and medicine for it and kept it with us.
What happened to the dog?
Died. But just Bassett died, like, it was suffering, it was old. But
so you're saying, right, that we feel lonely when our connection with another person does not help reflect who we are.
Right. Oh, no, not reflect who we are. We don't allow another to play a role in us discovering.
In us discovering who we are. Like, we're talking about pets, so I talk about Jack. I was like, I'm done. I don't want to love you. It's because my other cats just died.
Right.
I don't want to have that anymore. But I'm like, damn, I have all this love. You show me how much I can love.
That's it. Now listen to this. Let's say a prolonged period, you are not allowed to connect with you. You are not allowed to discover you. That leads to loneliness. Let's say you haven't had any connection with anything. Human being, a work, an animal. You haven't had any connection. By that, you went through a prolonged period of not being able to discover you. That leads to loneliness.
And not by when saying not having any connection, you also mean in the sense of like meaningful connection, right?
No, it could be anything, It could be anything. It could be...
Because there are lots of times when we do things like, you're at work or you're in these very professional settings where you're just kind of, I'm going to be very nice, I'm going to do this, but it's not me.
No.
And it's not really
No,
you.
I think you said meaningful connection. Probably we need the meaningless connection. Because all meaning are directed to a result. The meaningless connection, I tell you this one, happened up as 1988. I decided to go on a 2 years of silence. I decided not to talk for whatever reason. I started 2 months, it went to 3 months, and eventually...
You didn't even talk to Amma?
Little bit, very little, but in general, I'm not talking, And your mother doesn't need me to talk to her much too, because she's not talkative too.
She just read her books.
She read her books. But I remember that 88, 89, that 2 years, I just used to do 2 years of Mauna, not speaking. It's a cultural thing. Then I did it 3 weeks. It went on almost 2 years. Not that in between I didn't order food or something, but I never talked to anybody. I was quiet. And I used to go on a walk at night, and I used to walk in this most difficult, the sleazy part of the night, where the nightlife are, where the night people are.
Yeah.
And I used to be very quiet. I used to go sit. And after sometimes some people will interact, Eventually, in looking at their eyes, I realized, oh my God, some of them really care for me. They said, where have you been? Come here. Why are you so skinny? Come here, some food. I used to have a lady who was like a night prostitute. I don't want to use that word. She used to be downstairs of my house. Eventually, I'm her bodyguard. Because I used to be there and she'll smile, I smile. And eventually, she thought there's something wrong with me. She thought something going on because I didn't speak anything.
Walking silently.
And when she talks, I'll listen. And one day she's telling, I'm doing this because my husband had an accident. He can't, work anymore. He's bedridden. I got 2 kids, so I just do this to survive. I'm like, But do you know, I remember one day I was sick. She came to the house, opened the door, bought me medicine, looked at me, and I'm like, in meeting her, what I met is I don't have to be anybody to exist. I don't have to be somebody. You understand? And that was an incredible, meaningful contact for me to discover me. And I also discovered her, and I discovered my humanity.
But that's kindness, right? That she's offering you.
Okay?
But then,
and I also found myself being kind to her.
definitely, but the world seems to be particularly cruel to some people. Or do you think that's just
Why am I speaking of so few people and I've met thousands? I grew up in a small town village. I will speak about 10 people. What about the other thousands of people there? You take the few, don't worry about the majority. I walked the whole street. I was quiet. I was meditating. I was doing my thing. Why am I talking about some people? That's enough.
Do you think that people get caught in the ways that people have been cruel to them, that they almost can't see who have...
Yeah, they got affected. That people are unkind. But one thing is, why aren't we keeping our eyes on the people that are kind to us? Why are we keeping an album of people who hurt us? Why aren't we keeping the album of all the people? Like in this place, I'll put all the pictures up of people that mean something to me. And the people who don't mean anything to me. To remind me, actually what the pictures are, is to remind me through them what I discovered about myself. And I'm also honoring them for what I discovered about them. It's not only about me. So now, could loneliness be, this might be bad, did I make it only about me? I failed to discover another. And the rule states, when I discover the other, in the discovering of the other, I discovered me. Like somebody says, oh my God, that person is so beautiful. And I look at the person, I didn't know you were such a person who can look at other people's beauty. You saw the other person beautiful, but I'm looking at you and saying, my God, you are a beautiful person who can discover other people's beauty. The insistence to make it only about you, the insistence of using another just to live an image, makes you become disconnected with people. And the disconnection with another makes you fail in discovering you. And the more you fail to discover you, the lonelier you become.
Do you think loneliness is always a bad thing? Can the loneliness drive a discovery into yourself?
Yeah. Loneliness should lead you to exploration. Loneliness should lead you to right meditation. You know what is right meditation? I use everything to wake what is here. I use everything to reveal what is here. The whole world is a mirror that is birthing for me to see me. But in order for me to see me, I must see another. Like I always say, look around, see things as they are. Exactly. Through that looking, discover the one who's looking, the 2-point awareness. If not, you become single-pointed. But right now, you know what is happening? Everybody is using everybody as a prop to live out a false mind. Everybody is using everybody to pretend something they are not. That will lead to loneliness. But let me tell you, most lonely people are victim to these people who use them only to image. So the lonely person is usually the victim.
Yeah.
They are around people who use them only to put on a show. By that, rob them of discovering them through the other. And I think the number one reason for loneliness is the people who want to use people just as a prop. And the people who end up being a prop are put in a situation, they miss the opportunity meeting them. And the absence of meeting them is the loneliest. Like this, if you have a relationship, if the other person has you only as a trophy or, I don't know, whatever they have you only for, your soul is emptied. By right, you are with that other person so you can discover you. But you are used. Now, what is the remedy for loneliness? Be with people who don't use you. Be with people who are not furthering their objective of a lie they're trying to create about them. Be with people who really want to connect. Connection means what? No. In where I am, you are allowed to meet you. as you are, you allow me to meet me. And these two persons who have met each other now are meeting. The meeting is not this way, no? When I meet you, I meet me. When you meet me, you meet you. And that you have met and the me I've met through each other meet.
Do you think that, you know how some people be like, yeah, I'd love to meet someone like that, but I just can't?
No, I tell you, but this might be, I don't want you to misunderstand this. Use every situation to meet you. Be with somebody who lies and wake up to realize I'm not a liar. Right? Once it happened, I was with someone talking, and I got really angry with what that person was saying and doing. And I went up and smacked them one time. And somebody said, how can you do that? How can you beat somebody? I said, you are just watching me do an action, but you are not watching that no one cared enough for that person to go there with them to say, stop it now. If let's say somebody is taking drugs and trying to overdose, I'm going to smack that person. That smacking is not going to solve the drug problem. You know what he's going to do? He's going to say, I'm willing to go there to put you right, despite what others may say about me. They need to meet that love. And that love, by that love, they meet that they are that loved. Oh my God, I am meeting the part of me that was touched by somebody who really cared enough to go there with me.
Yeah, but those connections, those very honest connections with people where you see, the shitty side and all of that, and where you can hold them to the accountability of maybe not physically smacking them in whatever way that is for you. I don't find forming those kind of relationships hard, but I know a lot of people do find.
No, but I've seen you. You fight for your friend who is taking drugs or something. I've seen, I don't know whether I should say this. I've seen you fight. I've seen you say, no, you are becoming unpopular to that person, but you don't care. You see, the problem is, I think you and I are discovering something. We are nothing but a prop for somebody to live a lie about themselves. We are a prop. Most often we are just used as a decoration. And I think whenever we do that to somebody, we rob them the opportunity for them to meet them. That inevitably accepted leads to loneliness. So you must not be lonely. And maybe the first step is don't allow yourself to be used as a prop. And we have agreed to use each other as a prop. That is why we don't even mount a response. I don't know whether I'm the right person to talk about loneliness.
Have you felt lonely?
I don't understand that word much. Maybe, I don't know.
Like really lonely?
Yeah, I think I probably have somewhere. But probably it's a flickering moment. Is that some part of me was prevented from meeting? Yes, I must admit, maybe, yeah. I was in some corporations, I was doing big talks in front of big crowds, and I was very popular until I realized I'm just a prop. Until there was nothing there about me to meet. And that was very, I don't know whether I guess I can use the word lonely. And I walked away. I said, no, I'm not doing this. No matter how much I get paid, in the beginning I needed the money, so I did it. But eventually I'm like, no, I'm not doing this.
I guess it's like a last note, right? I think so much of the solutions you've given are to sort of find these people who you want to negate, you're like, I'm not like that, I'm not a liar, I'm not this, and then the people who sort of help you discover you in the positivity of it all. But there are people who can't even form any connection. Do you think that's them?
Cannot be.
That's what I think too.
There are such people out there, but cannot be. Then something happened. We cannot survive as a species. It's like you're saying somebody cannot breathe and the person is living. Yeah. It's not possible. If you can't breathe, you die. So
there's something to be examined if that is the situation.
That's the situation. That means you probably were raised in a family, you were just a prop. I've known so many parents, their kids are nothing but a prop. They want a picture of two kids and they're sitting there. the child is being abused for this person to have that picture.
Mm.
Or everything is for show. And what happens when pretension becomes the only reality, your truth becomes a lie.
Mm.
When your truth is made a lie, only pretension is real, you become lonely. And loneliness is your inner system screaming, be in a different environment. And you said having a meaningful relationship. I don't know what it is. Just meet the person who sells, like what you said, somebody gave you a donut and you were happy. You met a cat on the road, or it doesn't have to be.
If you give me a donut, I will be happy.
No, that's what I was doing for the early days. I was just going around, sitting, just being around, having a tea, be quiet, and just let life show me who I am.
Do you think offering kindness,
Sorry?
offering kindness unprompted, is probably the best way to cure your own loneliness?
Wow. You are giving the solution. Very good. Yeah. Go be kind to somebody. Go be the person for them to discover they are someone who's worthy of kindness or something. You do the action that you need for yourself and then allow it for yourself. I think you're saying it. But let me say this, and it's a very, very, very difficult, treacherous, dangerous subject. Many people kill themselves because they're lonely.
Yep.
I will say seek help, talk to therapist, find out what is going on. I'm giving an overview. But is it time to finish?
Yes.
Okay, I'll finish with this. Put yourself in an environment you can meet you. Put yourself in an environment you can rediscover you. Put yourself in an environment that through the other, you get to be in touch with something about you. And whenever you are in touch with you are never lonely.
Yeah.
And that's meditation, if I can sell it.
And that's on that.
That's on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.